shots, I think, right there, and said, all right, I finally got tower, we're good.
Definitely playing a little too fast and loose there, but able to keep their hide safe for today. And both these AD carries are becoming big threats coming to this mid-game orbital. We were talking about how they were going to be big deals, and with how things are shaping up, it's going to be Kong versus Godzilla here on the UML stage.
The only question is, which one's Kong and which one's Godzilla?
That's true.
Feel free to debate that in the comments. Please don't fry us for whichever one we say it is, because that's going to be not so great of a time.
Yeah, because spoiler warning, cover your ears for the next 10 seconds if you care about spoilers regarding Kong versus Godzilla. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Basically, Godzilla just trashed the hell out of Kong, from what my roommate told me. And then all of a sudden they became best bros when Mecha Godzilla came in. And apparently it's like rock, paper, scissors, where Kong beats Mecha Godzilla beats Zilla, and Zilla beats Kong. It's kind of cute, I guess.
Just play rock, paper, scissors forever in all the movies. That's just how it is with all the big monsters.
Yeah, but spoiler warning over for anyone who was deeply invested in the plot of two giant animals beating each other.
I'm sure there were quite a few people a little bit more into the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I'm sure. But here back in this game, we do have the Scuttle dropped on, or the Herald dropped on top side, didn't take any damage, as they were able to take the tower down a little bit quicker. So this is actually going to be an attempt by Scoreboard Rainbow to get an advantage on the top side with this Herald, break the base a little bit more. Cannon Barrage used to clear the wave, so they don't get a second tower, but get a lot of decent damage now,
which is pretty big. I believe all 3 towers that have been taken here by Scoreboard Rainbow have had that Jinx here for Polo involved in said ordeal, which is going to be pretty important, as both these AD carries very close to their second item spikes of the game. And that's going to be very terrifying, especially for Jinx, looking to go towards that Runons and getting those triple rockets every time you auto. Very big deal. Inferno, of course, no slacker either. What should be a Phantom Dancer, if I'm not mistaken, for maximum damage, but can be the Mortal Reminder.
A lot of options to go into, and we'll have to kind of keep track and see, you know, which one they do opt for. Taking a look at the rest of the items as well, we do have Turbo Kentank coming out for Wuju, which is pretty much standard. The Stridebreaker for Olaf, and looking at the Luden's Tempest for both Nodrix and Meteorite. I am surprised that Meteorite opted for that. Sometimes we do see the Leandri's Torment if there's a few tankier members, and I personally would actually lean towards that against the likes of a Karma Olaf, which tends to heal and shield a little bit more than you'd expect.
Definitely a bit of a personal opinion sort of thing. Either way, though, what is done is done. More interested in is Meteorite going for the second item. Rabadon's here. That would be a metric ton of damage. It was recently buffed a patch or two ago to cost 200 gold cheaper, if I'm not mistaken. And that is going to be a bit of a big point, and a big point it will be. It won't be a big point here for this next and upcoming dragon in about 30 seconds, though. And I believe we're going to have a bit of action here on the Rift once that happens. Bit of a bush trap being set up, though.
Yeah, one barrel does land, and they're going to follow through. Lots of good damage. Cage is taken out very low. Magnastorm draws 3, and they're going to be the rocket jump in. They are zoned and ready as well, and Toss is very late to this battle. However, fresher health bars, it feels like, on the side of Scoreboard Rainbow, but 5 members strong for the side of USC, as they will reign supreme in the Dragon battle.
And once again, we will be tied up here on the Dragon buffs for both teams. However, though, another kill going to be going over to this Tristana. Already seeing on those 2 items, only going to be getting scary from here on out. And it was a big deal, that fight. Well, not only that great pickoff set up by USC here, Orbital, but also the fact that the Gangplank Cannon Barrage ultimate able to really help zone out this Jinx of Polvo from getting too many auto attacks down in that team fight, whereas this Tristana for Inferno is able to just keep autoing all day long, it felt like. Yeah,
just the range is starting to become a little bit of a nuisance. I think it's at I think level 13 and 14 where it matches, where Tristana's range actually matches most conventional ADCs, and then level 16 is where she actually matches Caitlyn. So already starting to see that come through, and like you called it, the Phantom Dancer coming through for Inferno. So having that little extra lifeline plus damage output means that anyone that steps close is going to be absolutely decimated.
So the Tristana is currently sitting on 605 auto attack range, which is just a bit over what Ash's attack range is, which is definitely pretty important. However, though, Polvo should always be able to outrange in that rocket form, if I'm not mistaken. Gonna have to see what it jumps up to here when they swap. Oh wait, no, bonus auto range 200. So 725 auto attack range will always outrange the Tristana no matter what, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we'll definitely keep track of that later, because I feel like that's going to make all the difference, right? We do see the Runin's Hurricane finally finish, so Polvo has that 2-item power spike, going to be laying her out a lot of damage. But again, in the mid lane now, we're seeing some challenges as well. Seeing that Rabadon's Death Cap coming through closely for Meteorite, has the double needlessly large rod, so he's going to be outputting a lot of damage. Haven't seen a definitive shockwave yet, but when it does land, I mean, it's going to be a massive stat checker to the face.
That's going to have to wait, as funnily enough, Meteorite just hasn't participated in any of these 7 kills, sitting at 0, 0, and 0, the true neutral route, so to speak. Don't know if it's the true neutral ending quite yet. Either way, still a game very firmly in USC's control, all things considered, thanks to the gold lead, thanks to how big this Tristana is getting, and the threat that this Gangplank will be able to exert in these side lanes orbital. It is looking favorable for them.
Yeah, that is what, a close to 60 CS lead. Already has the Immortal Shield Bow, plus that Essence Reaver. Already, I think that is going to be going towards, I want to say Ghostblade, but I could easily be wrong. Just a massive damage source for the squad, and we've already seen the Cannon Barrage do a lot of good work. So very easily the strong point. You can see already they're swapping back and forth. Well and Dust possibly a little bit slower on the catch potential, so they know Gangplank is bot. Will they probably send someone? No. 5 members over here on Baron.
Okay, let's see how fast they do it. This is still a decently early Baron, and there is a control ward in the back that has spotted them out, and Polvo was actually autoing that instead of the Baron. Usually you don't want your AD carry focusing their damage on a ward when you're doing Baron, but a very wise peel off by Scoreboard Rainbow, recognizing maybe this is a little bit too risky here for us to go for.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they would even go there. It's not like they had the wave advantage either. It was just like, yeah, you know, we'll test it out, see if we can draw anyone's attention. It felt like
potentially, yeah, maybe just trying to go get a free pick of sorts and convert that into something else, as objectives on the map right now for both teams, with all 6 outer turrets down, are kind of naturally condensing either towards the Dragon/Baron area or getting some sort of split push off to get one of these inner turrets down. We do have less than a minute till this Dragon. I like this early warding being put down by Damon for the side of USC.
Yep. So taking a look, Wuju now sliding into the enemy jungle, and taking a look at the gold lead feels, if you just looked at the, what I feel like is the current setup of the, you know, the kills, the towers and everything, you wouldn't feel that they're actually 6k up, but that is what they are, as another hook around this Drake is coming up. It looks like both teams have opted to just say, cool, dragons are priority. Midwave is being pushed. Inferno does get caught a little bit on the tail end, so coming into this with only 3/4 health.
Let's see what happens here, because there is no vision for Rainbow Scoreboard. They're going to be walking in a little blind. Look at that ball placement, just threatening that shockwave. What happens here? A little bit of back and forth, poking and prodding.
Yeah, a little bit of poking and prodding, and they're attempting to try and get as much damage as they can down. So we'll see what they did attempt to do. Scuttle is up, taken away quickly by USC, so they will have that vision. Mid lane, though, pressuring in favor of Rainbow Scoreboard, so that will have to be dealt with shortly. Wuju, though, is going to get jumped on by Cage. Cage going to get a 2-man stun, and straight into the backline they go. Shockwave only lands on one, but it's enough. Inferno is getting jumped on, and he jumps right back towards his team for safety. That is a wash and a half for this USC squad. They only lose their ADC. Polvo is still up, but they only needed the others. 4-1 for USC as they take the team fight and the Drake.
Beautiful AoE denial coming out from USC to secure that fight. Provo was so close there to getting some resets in that fight. Did finally get one onto Inferno, but at that point, the rest of their teammates had already died and couldn't really convert that into anything meaningful, which is kind of a big deal here as Baron has been started up, is going down kind of slowly. Kaj, Polvo both kind of in the area. Protege just spawning in. There should be USC taking this, even if it is kind of slow. Look at the teleports, though.
They're going a little bit slow. That's going to be the smite going down, and they immediately have to sprint top. Polvo ready to clean it up. Django taking a lot of damage from the rocket. So Zapper misses by an inch. If that had landed, that easily could have been the recess. Django still on the run now. Cage looking for a little bit of fun. No tricks. Gets a stun onto Wuju. They're going to try and follow up. This might be the bear being dropped, but the rocket misses as Polvo can't finish anyone off. That will be a clean getaway for the side of USC.
And that was playing with fire there. I'm surprised Polvo didn't step up a little harder there initially after the Baron to try and drop some flame chompers, try and catch off some members and pincer them. I can respect the carefulness though, but this gold lead has ballooned quite a bit for USC. They're now sitting on Soul Point. The map is their oyster here, Orbital, and they can look to really force their will and crack open the enemy base.
Yep, all they needed is a little bit of time to ramp up, and the items speak for themselves. The Serpent Fang coming in. I forgot even that item existed, but it's great to pick up against the likes of a Rel and a Karma. Going to be shredding through those shields as quickly as possible, and that's going to allow the Tristana and the Orianna, both of which have 2 kills apiece. Orianna sitting on 2.5 items. Inferno sitting on 3 completed with that Infinity Edge following suit, and so he is fully online, ready to go to dish out a lot of extra damage. And you know, all eyes on this Scoreboard Rainbow squad. Where do they kind of go from here? They lost all the major objectives. How do they start getting back into this game and getting control?
Well, first off, try and stall out this Baron, whether that be through getting a pick or 2, whether that be through just classic old stalling, letting the enemy team get nothing they want. The biggest thing is you do have this 3-item Jinx is on even footing with the enemy Tristana, and both can look to do a lot of damage in team fights. It just comes down to who's able to get more auto attacks down for free. It is gonna sting though with this Baron, since Daemon with that demon with what was a 2-level advantage pushing into that bot lane. Massive gold lead as well for this gangplank, thanks to that CS lead, thanks to the parlay. It's gonna be a hard time.
Just a hard time. It's like, oh, I'm just only walking uphill. You know, if the hill was lobbing boulders at me every time someone auto attacked me. Let's go ahead and take a look at his gold. 13.6, highest in the game, versus Wellendos, who is sitting at 9.1. Between the top laners alone, I think that's a 4.6k lead. Oh my gosh.
Oof. But props to Scoreboard Rainbow. They are stalling out this Baron fairly decently. Of course, their turrets are taking a bunch of damage for this, and I wouldn't be surprised if they lose at least one of these inner turrets, as yep, there that one goes. What happens though is this just going to be a bit of a cement the gold lead sort of Baron, as the gold lead has increased. There is a little under a minute and a half till this next dragon. What happens? Wuju gonna be kind of spotted out a little, but everybody's really just gonna get away, and very calm across the rift aside from some shoving and picking up those 2 side lane inner turrets.
Yeah, and I definitely feel USC could have pressured a bit more, right? Maybe a 1-3-1, hard push that mid lane and use that Baron a little bit more to their advantage, but they do back off because Dragon will be up in 55 seconds. If they're able to pick this up, that would mean an extra shield plus I think a total of I want to say 18% extra armor and magic resist for themselves. So a lot of nice safety mechanisms to deal with this frontal burst that might be coming out of the Jinx and the Syndra. So question marks abound on what they want to do, and look at that ward coverage. USC have got it down pat.
Yeah, and Scoreboard Rainbow, they're gonna have to make something happen this time, because in the previous two dragon fights, they kind of just had to walk in blindly into this river. Is history gonna be doomed to repeat itself? I don't know, because you don't want to give up this dragon soul for free. That is a juicy mid lane push, potentially. You have to keep in mind, though, the enemy team here in USC will shred through this dragon very quickly when it does spawn. A lot of tension here on the Rift Orbital as barrel.
And that was a barrel chain into Cannon Barrage, and this is just a battle that USC, I think, won. Out goes Inferno to ready lay it down. Meteorite on a killing spree here. They disengage and re-engage as well, and Das has to run away with the shield. That is the karma out, and the rest of the squad left wondering what the heck happened. A little bit of a command dissonance means that Meteorite is keeping them at bay. Now Dragon goes down as Inferno goes over. He says, I want the assassination. Tries to find the clip over the wall a little bit more and wants a couple more kills in his pocket. Not able to pick it up though, as they go ahead and clean it up. USC take the soul, they take the kills, and are looking to take Scoreboard Rainbow's base.
And this game very firmly in their control, as Protege just gonna be picked up there. I wonder if we see the end of the game come out. The death timers are definitely long. We don't have Protege back up for over another 40 seconds here, Orbital, with all these members coming in strong. There is a cannon wave. You do have this 3.5 item Tristana waltzing on him, who can shred these turrets. What happens though, because the tension is pretty hard here on the Rift.
Yeah, Wuju actually taking a lot of pain there, gets an extra shield. Oh, and the ward gets thrown down. The age-old trick to block the Thresh Lantern. Looks like Scoreboard Rainbow still have a couple tricks up their sleeve. They're able to pick off one, get the shutdown. I think that was given over to Polvo. And that will be an attempt to push back here in a late game stage, but they have already had their base cracked.
Look at this flank. Daemon did just finish that final upgrade, if I'm not mistaken, on the Cannon Barrage. However, though, look at this pincer movement coming in. We do have a Baron available. For once, though, the side of Scoreboard Rainbow are going to have the inside track, are going to have Prio, are going to have first dibs. And USC are going to have to walk into them. What comes of it, though, because this Baron has already been spotted out.
Yeah, it's definitely been spotted, and I think it was very telegraphed. So the question is how quickly can they take it out Wuju, since she has come back up, and the Cannon Barrage stalls it out, but that's not their goal. Their goal is to fight. Meteorite has to launch away, and that's gonna be Inferno dropping 2 kills like it's nothing. Hook doesn't land on anyone, but they want to follow up. Wellendas has to take a very long route to safety, but the 2 kills that came in were the jungle and support. So big ticket wins, as USC are debating whether they want to take Baron or the win.
They can just look to potentially get both here. You take the Baron, you reset, and then just look to go for the throat on the enemy team here. Wellendas, I don't know what they're doing, because now they're just going to die here for their sins. They don't have a tower to get back to. There's the flash, but they're just dead.
Just one more auto. Sticky bomb goes out, and Inferno is crazy strong. 6-2 and 6, 600 gold bounty on his head. Not to be compared though to Meteorite, who is 305 and 700 gold on his head. So crazy numbers for the squad in the second week here, and they are looking mighty strong in the Infernal division.
Let's see how they can close out the game here though, because with the Baron supers already in the base, chunking down those Nexus turrets. There's the hook.
Oh my god. 100 to 0 in 0.5 seconds flat. Wuju says, yeah, let's just keep going. I don't even care right now. They're tanking up towers. They're getting down the shots, and this is a shockwave aired right there as Meteorite goes, yeah, that's just for show. A little bit of a scout of the week as a hook goes down. Ragnarok burn. Last Nexus tower falls, and Polvo takes a chunk out of his death. The Nexus will fall soon enough, and USC will take game number 1.
they will, and they had control of that game for the entire time here. Orbital, it felt like, even though it definitely was arguably close at some points, we know who was in the driver's seat this entire time. Furno showing up, Wuju Sensei showing up quite a bit here this game, and there's gonna have to be some changes here from Scoreboard Rainbow if they want to counteract this going to this game number 2 and potentially bring us to that game number 3.
That is their hope, and we'll see what they can bring to the table. However, we will go to a very short break to allow these teams to recoup and rethink their plans. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the UML after this.
The bottom of the ocean, I'm at the bottom of the sea. I'm at the bottom of the ocean, don't know if I'll make it back home.
here we go for game number 2 as we are underway. Once again, USC up 1-0 after a pretty standard and I want to say almost methodical win to that game. Now here in game number 2, Scoreboard Rainbow went ahead and said, cool, we'll go ahead, stick with the same blue side. So that's why you see the Yi ban once again. Same with the Udyr as well as the possible Lulu. So of course it looks like Scoreboard Rainbow have said, you know, we still want to ban out these ones.
A lot of runbacks here, although the Volibear ban coming out, interesting enough, because you do have blue side here, so you're able to take that Volibear away in that first spot if you do so want to. But hey, maybe Scoreboard Rainbow want to prioritize that Olaf again. Maybe they'll change up something about their comp this time around.
Yeah, maybe they will, maybe they won't. Again, they might have felt that maybe it's just execution, but I do agree something had to change, and they say they need to change it themselves. They ban away the Jinx outright saying, hey, we have a different thought in mind. We don't want to hand that one over to someone like Inferno. So we'll take that one off the board. Now that leaves USC a little bit of a head scratcher going. I'm not sure what they're going for, but we might as well do the same thing as before. The Hecarim, Udyr, and finally the Tristana. So brand new ADCs we will have this time around.
Yep. As Seraphine does slip through the cracks and is instantly taken up here by Scoreboard Rainbow. I'm quickly checking the last draft, and yeah, Seraphine was banned last time around in that place of Tristana. So that is quite the power pick that has gone through. That's able to flex to 3 different positions here, Orbital. Forced response looks like it's gonna be that Olaf, which worked okay-ish in some aspects for Scoreboard Rainbow last game. Just it was a bit of a rotational / macro diff, I feel, from the junglers.
Yeah, and it looks like USC are just saying, yeah, we'll go ahead, take it as we will. They go ahead, lock in the Olaf and Rel first, saying we will take your composition and show you exactly how to play it. So Seraphine is shown for the side of Scoreboard Rainbow, and we do have to wonder where they're going to place it. They go ahead and hover the Vayne. If that is locked in, that is a ballsy. It is locked in. That is your ballsy pick of the week.
So Vayne is pickable, but typically you only see it in the context of picking into Kai'Sa. Since the Vayne is able to outtrade Kai'Sa a lot, you get the Silver Bolts off faster than she gets the Plasma stacks off. If we're talking about 1 versus 1 without any CC from supports, that in the Vayne does outscale the Kai'Sa. But with Vayne Graves, with that Seraphine already in the boot here for Scoreboard Rainbow, they definitely have a lot of marksman, physical, consistent damage coming out here, Orbital, and some protection for said carries as well. They're probably going to want a little bit more beef on the front line, though, in these next 2 picks.
Yeah, they're going to have to hope for it. The Graves was locked in, of course, so we'll see what they opt for here. 5 seconds left if they are going to match, and they say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That Gangplank top will be coming out once again, and you know, did very well into the Karma. This time around, though, I feel we're going to have a little bit heavier handed top laner choice, and that's also what USC are thinking. They're saying, nope, we're not dealing with the Cho'Gath today.
Because the Cho'Gath kind of can pressure the Gangplank, but the super counters to Gangplank are still available. I don't think we're going to see Lucian here, because Lucian Vayne Graves is triple short range marksman, and that's probably not this move. However, though, Ryze and Vladimir are up on the table. We see those a lot into the Gangplank and can really, really heavily punish that Gangplank, since they both spike a bit earlier than that Gangplank. They both have the burst, even without Ignite, to really pressure this Gangplank. And the Gangplank just hates dealing with that. But it is kind of up to Scoreboard Rainbow. Does Willendus play those champions, or are we going to see maybe a tank into this Gangplank? Who knows?
Maybe we'll see, but of course on the flip side you did see the Orianna and the Kai'Sa banned away. Surprising, even though you said that the Kai'Sa was actually countered by the Vayne, so obviously not what they were hoping for. But that is going to be the Caitlyn picked up here. So long range against the Vayne. This is not the matchup that the Vayne was probably hoping for.
Yeah, Vayne into Caitlyn is one of the classic cited matchups in the bot lane of lane dominance versus hyperscaling, because the Caitlyn with that massive range advantage will just be able to continuously chip away at this Vayne. What I'm going to be looking for out of this Caitlyn that is going to be piloted here by Inferno Orbital is that every time this Vayne walks up to try and get a farm, you just put a little auto attack on her, and over time those autos will add up, especially if they are headshots. However, though, the Alistar currently being hovered, it is considered a counter into the Rel, but it does also have some issues into the Rel itself. All right, it is going to be Alistar, so very close range, very physically orientated composition here from that Seraphine on Scoreboard Rainbow.
And the Silas has been locked in, a fan favorite if you are a fan of Silas, especially because you see the Alistar on the other side. So it looks like USC were kind of hoping for this type of composition to come in with how quickly that pickup came for Meteorite in the mid lane.
And there definitely is a lot of nice pros to this Silas. It should have fairly good matchup into that Seraphine because you're able to bully out that Seraphine. You're able to outtrade that Seraphine, and you do have the sustain to weather through the Seraphine's poke. I kind of want to see this time, or this game here, that Nodrix rock a more offensive Seraphine in the mid lane. I know Moonstone Seraphine was all the rage up until that major bug fix batch or two ago, but the Leandres would have a lot of merit here. All that health strike can really help your team melt through this Olaf, melt through this Realm, melt through this Gangplank, melt through this Silas even too, so they aren't able to just get away with building all these plated steel caps and just stack armor to really deny the rest of the carry potential coming out from Scoreboard Rainbow.
Yeah, and you know, that's one of the complications. You know, you run full AP, you're gonna get magic resist. If you're running all AD, you're gonna come up against the like you said, steel cap boots, a little bit of armor. And top lane though, a little bit of a question mark. The Aurelia versus the Gangplank, we did see Wellendas have some troubles with that the Karma matchup into the Gangplank. Do you think this one's going to be a solid matchup for him, considering he counterpicked it? He said, this is the champ that I want into the Gangplank.
So I haven't seen too much of the Irelia to Gangplank matchup. If I had to take a wild guess here, I would say that the Irelia should be very favored because you're able to dash in, you're able to have those very fluid auto attacks to potentially contest the barrels, you're able to perform those early all-ins, force the Gangplank to pop those oranges, which completely deplete his mana if he has to go for them. And if you're able to pressure this Gangplank into not being able to farm, not being able to really parlay stack up on the minions, that can be quite the boon. And this Irelia will continuously have kill threat on this Gangplank as the game goes on. It's not like that Moonstone Karma top lane we saw last game Orbital, where after a certain bit, you're kind of just hitting him with a bit of a pea shooter.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit more heavy-handed. The slaps are going to turn into punches very, very quickly, or in this case, a little bit of a slice of the blade. So we'll see how that one turns out. Let's go ahead and move over to the jungle this time around because, we had, I think it was the Olaf versus the Volibear, and now that Le Protege has kind of been thrown the gauntlet, right? A little bit of glove in the face, seeing the Olaf picked away. What do you think he's going for? Because the Graves we've seen off and on be a little bit useful, but still it's the gank heavy priority that we see a lot of the junglers go for.
Well, obviously Protege not going to be too gank heavy this game, maybe counter gank heavy, going to be much more of the farming game here and becoming a threat of his own. This Graves in the early game is able to go kind of toe-to-toe with the Olaf thanks to the phase rush, giving you all that move speed, that slow resist too, very handy for the axes. You of course have that smoke screen, and before that Olaf gets the Ragnarok, it is kind of a royal pain in the butt for this Olaf to get on top of that Graves. But like you said, yeah, the Olaf will be having some extra impact on the map early on if we're talking about trying to force ganks into lanes. But when it comes to farming, soloing objectives, both these junglers should be relatively even, I want to say.
All right, well, some thoughts moving in there, which is awesome. And again, you know, I'm excited to see what they can do because game number one was a little bit slower tempoed. Of course, they were not really forcing anything, to say the least. So I want to see what they can do. Looking towards this bottom lane, you talked about it last time. Polvo and Inferno were the two big keys, the two big triggers to really watch this game explode. And this time around, do you have that same kind of feeling, or do you think the pressure and kind of the priority is on other laners? You know, maybe the solo laners or the junglers this time around.
This time around on both teams, there's much more threats than last game. Of course, USC last game did have multiple threats thanks to the Gangplank in the top lane. Still was the show of the AD carries. This time, not as much, since we are going to be seeing the Irelia, Graves, and Vayne coming out here for Scoreboard Rainbow. Still, it is going to be an important thing to look at the spot lane because we saw how dominant Inferno and Django were last time around, and now that you have this massive range advantage on the Caitlyn versus the Vayne, you can look to really force your will, get prio for Uju Sensei, maybe to help get some counter jungling down, maybe get some early dragons for your team, and maybe some early plates as well, and that could be a huge boon here for this USC bottom lane.
All right, well, there you go. Always keeping eyes on some of these guys and seeing if they can make it happen. And we will go ahead and go to a quick commercial break as we figure out and let these guys kind of prep for the upcoming battle. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back with game number 2 between University of Southern California and Scoreboard Rainbow. here we go. Game number 2 coming at you quick and fast with both these squads loaded on a lot quicker than expected. They are ready, primed, and waiting. Their hamsters have been fed and the wheels are spinning as we get on to Rift for the second game. And of course, a little bit interesting picks. We do see the Vayne coming out, one that we don't see too often, as well as an Aurelia versus Gangplank. Complete different shift than what we saw in game number 1 for the side of Scoreboard Rainbow.
It's definitely a shakeup, and that is always nice. If it doesn't work last time, hey, maybe it's time to try something new. Bit of aggression coming out here in this level 1 by USC. Gonna be able to drop another early ward into the opposing jungle here, and they even have a defensive ward that spots out Protege going for that counter ward, and should spot out this Graves back as well. I don't know. Protege should be back in time to get to whichever buff they want to grab first off. Oh, top laners.
Demon going ahead and trading friendly greetings with the Aurelia, and Wellendas quickly goes, yep, don't want to go that way.
Yeah, a little agreeable. Best not to walk into a GP level 1 usually, although Irelia does have a strong level 1 to contest as well, thanks to the Irelia passive being able to match up with that GP passive. It's just Damon will be able to win out over time thanks to the grass procs, thanks to the parlay giving him that extra auto, whereas the Irelia kind of really wants that level 2 mark, so they're able to get that reset on the Blade Surge.
And you can already see the freeze or the attempted bullying of this bottom lane occurring. Inferno and Django playing very far forward. Crits and headshots stacking up as quickly as can be. It's just overall aggressive tendencies as they're looking for an early level 2.
Yeah, this is kind of how you expect the lane to go, although the Vayne is actually able to outtrade the Caitlyn level 1 if it does come down to auto attack versus auto attack thanks to the tumble resets, but it is a level 1 Alistar, and level 1 Alistar has to rely on that flash, so you're not really able to pressure that. And with this level 2 coming out first for USC, that is going to be massive. They're already poking them down. Those Piltover Peacemakers, those auto attacks, and even headshots going to be adding up on these members, already chugging through some potions, which is going to be felt.
Yeah, cheeky trap placements behind the body of the tower always catches some opponents by surprise. Some call it grimy, I call it tactics. It's a very standard way to play Caitlyn, I feel. So gonna be utilizing that to whittle down the health pools. And if this is gonna be a deja vu kind of moment for the side of a Scoreboard Rainbow, I mean, how do you compete with this? How do you start kind of drawing this to a close to help Povo and Cage get back in the game?
You're gonna need jungle pressure. That is always one of the best ways to shut down a Caitlyn who's just perma shoving you under tower. You just come down with the jungler, kill her, or take out both those sums and force that reset. Of course, so this is the Graves jungle for Protege, and Graves not exactly known for that insane early gank pressure unless we're talking about counter ganks. More so concerned about the farming. That's a great Epson abduct in the mid lane though. Meteorite definitely gonna be eating a lot of damage off the back of that. It should only get better though here for this Silas.
Yeah, he's going to be happy about those trades. And again, it's just a champion that loves to bully and love to be a menace in that mid lane. Cage again taking so much free damage, getting caught and being forced into poor walking placements, I guess is the best way to put it. Poor pathing, that's the word I was looking for. Again though, that La Protege so far, heavy resources invested in the top side, doing a little bit of a cheeky invading.
See what happens though out of it, because this is a very low mana Irelia for Wellendas. Neither of these top laners quite close at all to that level 6 point. So, oh, flash! Oh,
yeah, flash for flash as they go out, and Povo actually rolls in. I'm not sure if he wanted to do that. Gets the condemn backwards and might actually fall. He knocks it back in. Django gets knocked into the tower, flashes right back out, and Povo has to burn the heal. Oh, this is getting messy in those sites. Meteorite though having some trouble, dashes over the wall, is gonna get clipped by that Ian. So Nodrix is gonna pick up first blood of this game.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real with you, Chief there, Polvo. I don't know if walking in to get that final silver bolt proc was the schmoove there. It does cost that heal. Either way, though, Nodric's gonna be able to get first blood in the mid lane thanks to that nice gank coming out from Protege due to how much trading had happened in the mid lane. Meteorite was kind of low on health. There's a good headbutt pull, but yep, there's the rel stun.
Oh. And again, that is a kill on the bottom side as Inferno goes ahead and picks that up. A couple silver bolts, though, means Polvo and Inferno are both very low. Ghost actually popped as he's going to chase in. He already took Drake. So he's going to finish off those Krugs and immediately allow Inferno and Django to leave with an excess amount of gold.
Yes, and that is going to be a very felt amount of gold. Oh.
Oh.
Oh, Lord.
Demon getting a free kill. That's just... You know it's gonna happen every so often. It's like, oh, Karthus hit level 6. Well, GP hit level 6.
Yeah. I mean, GP ulti is like a very, very, very much weaker and in most cases laughably awful ultimate, because I had a friend who was a hardcore GP main, and even if you go electrocute, he is like, yeah, level 1 ulti just does piss all for damage. Like, you use it to pick up waves and maybe pick up assists. It has that nice little slowing effect. It just doesn't really do much damage. But when Polvo just has like literally no health, then you're like, you know what? Sure, I'll take the freebie.
I'll take the freebie for sure, and you know, get a little extra gold to keep stacking. You know, against an Aurelia, it can never be enough, right? You're always happy to pick up a little extra gold. You can already see Wellendas has that CS advantage in the current moment, and it actually forced Demon to go that early variable vest, and now he's going to get jumped on. Le Protege living in this top side, and remember, no cannon barrage. So Wellendas, with a little bit of assistance, is going to win that top lane fight. Now teleport on the bottom side as Meteorite had run down, and Nodrix tries to throw out an encore and just completely airballs it.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it. Kind of surprising too, because it did pass through 2 allies, and that does boost the range. As an ARAM player, let me tell you, Seraphine ulti is a very hard one to miss.
Oh, Protege also having some fun in the mid lane and takes down Wuju Senshi in stylistic fashion.
Yep. Yeah, a little bit of an overcommit there, to say the least. Quite the hectic game so far. Was a bit calmer, a bit more methodical, as a lot of people like to say last time around. This time, a bit more bloody, as the mid lane jungle duo, Protege and Nodrix, gonna be roaming on down a little bit, maybe trying to look for a play on the bot side here, as nothing gonna come of it, and both these junglers just gonna return to farming their jungles.
Yeah, they're going to try and farm it up and make sure that they're ready for any upcoming fights. And that's going to be a dodge out on the east stun, as Wellendas now has to run away, but that's a huge collapse in. He's going to get one more auto and chugging those potions for his life flash forward, and a Q. Almost a fadeaway shot with that pistol. And that's going to be Wellendas picking up a first death as Demon just claims a kill.
That was just so funny. I thought for a split second there that Damon was gonna flash in and then not do anything. Does pick up the kill though. This GP now 2-1-0. Even has the Bramble Vest too, as is tradition for top laners against enemy conqueror abusers. That rush, that early sustain. In this case, gonna be that Blade of the Ruined King. Polvo has to be careful here, because you kind of don't want to be eating that rel combo.
Be eating the combo, but look how much damage has gone down onto this bottom side tower. Now Wuju Senshi in this top lane is going for the blue buff, trying to steal away, but he is going to get collapsed on. Has to pop the Ragnarok early, and the Ghost going to be following up, and multiple members collapsing in on him. This blue buff might just cost him his life. He's going to get jumped on and shut down. Nodrix picks up a second kill of the game.
And the Seraphine picking up kills is going to be a nice thing, since Seraphine does scale very, very handsomely. A little bit disappointing that it is going to be the Moonstone Seraphine. Still very strong, don't get me wrong. I just want a little bit more magic damage coming out from the Seraphine to add a little bit of extra threat. Either way, though, accelerating the Seraphine closer and closer to that Moonstone Water Staff combo, going to be quite the nasty thing to deal with. But this tower already getting so low here in the bot lane orbital. Just going to be a matter of how many more waves is it going to be standing up, especially with Protege not really opting to focus on this lane. Understandably so. It is a bit of a hard one to gain.
I just have grievances, right? It just feels bad when you pick something like the Vayne. You want to gank for that lane. You want to prioritize that lane, but you just can't. That's going to be the Rift Trail dropped on the top side. They're going to try and collect first tower, and they do. So first tower does go their way. Django going ahead, diving onto the tower. They're going to try and fight this one out. In goes Meteorite. He gets the long chain route. Polvo is going to go down, loses the flash and heal, and Meteorite goes ahead, pops up that unbreakable will that he stole, as top lane is going to lose 2 towers for that dive.
It does cost this Vayne their life, though, here. Polvo's sitting on that 0-2 point. The Infernal Dragon is up as well, so it's definitely one of those trades where you can't heavily debate it, is getting 2 towers on the top side, getting this Irelian Graves further ahead, worth having your Vayne fall further behind compared to this Caitlyn, letting this Caitlyn get accelerated, losing that bot tower, losing the second. Oh, hi, Zuki. My dog just came out from under the bed and surprised me. How are you? But yeah, definitely a surprising turn of events there with just how much happened at. Oh, hi, Zuki. She wants to help me cast. Hi, puppy. How are you?
You love to see it, but Cage going ahead, clearing out some of the wards, and gold dead even right now, 20.2 to 20.2, but 2 dragons in favor of USC, 2 towers in favor of Scoreboard Rainbow. And I mean, evening things out, it feels like these dragons are going to be much more impactful, as it is another Mountain Soul that's going to be making its way onto the rift. So Django and Wuju Senshi would both love those for the side of USC. On the flip side, only really Alistar is going to be utilizing those dragons and souls.
Still gonna be handy either way, having all those extra resists to deal with damage, even if it is all primarily on carries. Never mind that though. Headbutt pulse.
Yeah, and they're just actually gonna try and jump, but Django gets away with a very nice jump, and a follow-up. One more auto is gonna do it. Inferno lands the headshot. That's gonna be a couple more tags forward, as this is just the Inferno show right now, massively in the lead. That is gonna be USC claiming one right back and forcing Polvo into 0-3.
Gonna be a very rough situation here with just how far behind this Vayne is. In fact, if we take a peek at the gold here between these two 80 carries, that's the 2,000 gold differential. That is getting dangerously close to the point where that is a full item differential, since we're going to be talking about the second items here, and usually second items for 80 carries cost about 2,600 to 3,000 gold. That's a bit of a spooky thing here, Orbital.
Just a little. I mean, I'm wondering when they're ever going to try and cut down Inferno. They tried right there, focused everything on Django, and he got away without using Flash or Ignite. That's the worst feeling in the world. You lay down ultimates, you lay down everything, you still lose a member and don't really get anything out of it. So now we're going to see a secondary collapse. They're going to try and fight this one out. Protege gonna head jumping forward with the smokescreen. Inferno finally burning that flash.
Definitely a nice flash to be getting out from this Caitlyn, who is right now the big ticket carry on the enemy team. Sensei, though, gonna be eating a lot of damage.
Oh, and the follow-up damage in return is gonna land the ace in the hole. The snipe and steal from Inferno means he is now 3-0-1. They're gonna follow Cage directly in the jungle, and that's gonna be handed over to Demon on a silver platter. Now bottom lane is gonna be a duel of ultimates as Meteorite wins that one out. The chains are better than the blades in the battle of the Vanguard.
And a 3-for-1 there. USC coming out ahead. Very, very noticeably so. That is going to be felt here. There now 2 kills on this Silas. That is a bit of a yikes. What happens here in the mid lane? There's the funnel hour. There is the 5th cal.
And an Inferno gets away just shy of getting rooted, but a dodge on the Encore means he can keep dueling, and the doesn't get That knockback into the wall, and Polvo and Nojrix get nothing out of that fight.
As a Vayne main, I know that feel all too well. You think it lines up with the wall, but then while you're casting it, you're not able to finish it off. Damon might be in a lot of danger here. There is no collateral damage though.
Yeah, he is doing his best. One more auto attack might be there. Q is not there, but he will get the burn. So that will be a tick of 1 for 1, which means Meteorite gets plenty of time with the top lane tower.
And this Sylas loves that. This Sylas for Meteorite gonna be quite the split push side lane threat here. One we're talking about later on in the game when Baron's on the table. Seraphine, not exactly known for doing well in side lanes, let alone when you're going for this full-on support Seraphine that kind of needs to be around the team, since Moonstone, Staff of Water, both items that kind of need a homie around to help you out. And if you're 1 versus 1 in the side lane, well, you're not getting a lot of value out of said items.
Yeah, definitely should have gone with your advice there. I think, going for that Leonji's Torment would have been the better option, but they opted not to. Now we get to see this mid lane be the big occupier of attention. 20 seconds until this Mountain Drake comes up. And remember, Rainbow scoreboard are down 2 Drakes so far. So if they lose this one, that will put them at Soul Point, or put them against Soul Point, and will allow Inferno and the rest of the USC squad to climb that much stronger.
There it is. We already have USC on this. We have so many members from Scoreboard Rainbow so far away. This Dragon already losing a lot of its health. This Kraken Slayer on the Caitlyn going to be helping quite a bit. I like this flank from Django coming out. The trap's already there. There's the... Oh, all in.
Yep, and that's the Magnus jumping right in. They're going to try and fight this out. Encore lands, but it doesn't matter to a Ragnarok member. They just clean this up. There is no Aurelia. Out goes Django. And the follow-up with the Vanguard's Edge is going to catch a kill. Wellendas now has to run away, but the Unbreakable Will is going to keep Meteorite up for a little bit longer. But damage is enough as the collateral damage forces Inferno out. So for all their fighting, they didn't get the Drake, and Scoreboard Rainbow hold off that fight.
Just barely though. That was a still very great start to the fight by USC, since once again they're able to get the flank, they're able to get the denial. The zoning on this Dragon just falls apart a little bit in the end there, and this Dragon pickup is going to be appreciated here for Scoreboard Rainbow. Help stop the potential of that soul coming out and get yourself a little bit on that comeback train as you narrow the gold lead just a pinch more.
Yeah, and I feel that fight was a little bit forced, right? You saw the Cannon Barrage come down, and then you saw Django kind of jump in the middle of everyone, and they were a little bit slow to follow up on that, right? The Dragon was more in their eyes, and you go for 2 birds as an eagle, and you're gonna miss one of them if you train your eyes too close. So that is actually what happens. They only get a trade of kills. They lose that Drake, and now they have to battle again for it. So Meteorite wondering where he's gonna go. Cage.
Yeah, we're also wondering where he's gonna go. Is this Sylas still a big threat here? Has that massive CS lead over that very support orientated Seraphine? Has those 2 kills under their belt as well, but still maybe not fully in the driver's seat yet on this Sylas pick. Only level 12, probably wants to finish their next item as well before they become that real menace. Demon getting the flank here, has to be careful though.
Yeah, already used the orange as well, so the rest of the squad coming to back him up, and that's a 3-man in the mid lane versus 3-man in the mid lane. 5 though rotating for the side of Scoreboard Rainbow. In goes Cage, and he only gets a stun onto Demon, and they're actually going to throw the Encore, and he whiffs as Meteorite throws the Encore right back. A 3-man Encore instead. Oh, the Echo is that much stronger. 3 for 1 is the brutal count as USC claimed that fight.
Yeah, that's one way to claim a fight. Just stealing the Encore, so you're encoring the Encore. I don't know what a double encore is called. I guess double encore.
A really long outro to a concert.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe it's the remix. Usually they play remixes at concerts. Either way, though, that is a very big and definitive dub here for USC, who had had a little bit of the back burner, a little bit of the short end of the stick in that last dragon fight, but they're able to get the 3-for-1. They're able to pick up this Rift Herald as well before that Baron spawns in, so they can look to once again prosper their gold lead, which they did bring back up to a very handsome point here, Orbital, and can bring it up just a pinch more with this Rift Herald if they do drop into the right place at the right time.
Yeah, very well played. And you know, finally back up into manageable levels of a gold lead. You know, it was even for a period of time, and then now it's kind of opened up to about 4.7k. And you got to think they're breathing a little bit of sigh of relief, right? They won game number 1 in pretty good fashion. This one's been a little bit closer, so they're finally able to say, cool, we can start utilizing these champions that we have drafted for ourselves. The Inferno 5-0-4, sitting on 187 CS, 47 above his lane opponent, about to have that Infinity Edge ready, and they're just going to go straight into Wellendas. Tower dive doesn't exactly go their way. Able to get the flash out, so that's a big summoner down for any type of re-engage.
Quite the big summoner. It does cost the Ragnarok from Senshi, so gonna be a little bit vulnerable. GCASH gonna be eating a lot of damage. Alistar does get very tanky when you do have that unbreakable will popped, but you're not popping that casually while walking through the jungle usually. If you are, that's not the best sign. There's the Rift Herald actually being dropped, looking to take this mid lane inner turret. What can they get with it, since it is going to be a little bit hard with all these members here contesting this push?
Well, they at least get one tower for it, and I think that might have been on a timed setup. I think he only had a couple more seconds to hold it, so might as well drop it mid, say cool, we get the tower, that's all we need. We get a little bit more gold in our pocket to recall and prep for this Baron. That might be the next one, or the Drake, because that is up in 45 seconds as well.
And once again, it is going to be a decently important dragon here. It's not going to be a very definitive dragon, but it can help us gauge what the vibe is going to be here for probably the next 5, 6, maybe even upwards of 8 minutes here. Keep in mind though, Orbital, the Purple Worm is on the board. There is still a definitive lead for USC, so if they really want to, they can initiate the potential trade here. They do have a team that can get through that Baron very quickly, and you will trade a Baron for a single Earth Dragon any day of the week.
You will, but not if it puts you at soul point, or if you're trying to stall the enemy from getting to soul point. Dragon is up. This is a full 5-on-5, and no, it actually is going to be the opt-out. Can see a rainbow scoreboard rotating around, seeing if they can find another pinch. Dragon down to about 2.5. That's gonna be the cannon barrage used to zone them off. That's gonna be a mid lane pressure push from the side of scoreboard rainbow.
They're able to get themselves on that soul point. Does cost them that mid lane outer, which is gonna afford a lot of extra room for invasion tactics from scoreboard rainbow. So a little bit of a trade when it comes to map pressure versus potential just raw stats pressure in the form of that dragon soul, which might be a real issue here in just a bit under 4.5 minutes.
So now we're taking a look, and you know, looking at the gold as well. We haven't been able to do that lately, but even items, you can already tell it's pretty rough. Looking at the gold though, top lane not as far ahead as we thought it would be for Demon. He's only about 1 to 900 gold ahead. Jungle wise, actually, we see one of the larger gaps. Wuju Senshi has not had that great of a game. 2-4-2 versus a 2-2-7 that La Protege has laid down. So he's done about 1.5. Mid lane, we see a decent set. And of course, in the ADC realm, Inferno miles ahead of Polvo. I mean, we can definitely see where the PowerPoints lie.
Yep, you don't need a copy of Microsoft Office 10 to know the PowerPoint and have access to the PowerPoint. There are free alternatives, though. They're pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Don't want to pay for Office. I think it's moved to a subscription-based model, too, which is a little bit papega. Understandable, but it does hurt. Baron, though, gonna be the name of the game here very soon while we are waiting on that next dragon to spawn. And it's gonna be a lot of the teams just feeling each other out here, Orbital, I feel, trying to find a little just hole in the armor for you to put that needle in and just put pressure on that point.
Yeah, at the same time, though, game number 1 went the way of play for dragon, right? These guys opted to just power farm until they hit that, you know, that soul or anything. And actually, that's how we saw the last fight end. I think it was around the dragon. They just got the soul and then just rushed straight down mid. So maybe that happens here too. However, we are about 10 minutes faster if they are to do that. Last game, I think, ended around 32 to 35 minutes.
I think it was 36.
Yeah, it was a little bit further into the game time, but we'll see if they can do it here. So Baron is up. Vision, though, contested on both sides. You can see some pink wards on both and a couple regular wards as well. So this time around, scoreboard Rainbow not giving up these global advantages so easily.
Still, though, definitely on the back foot once again. The biggest difference this game, like you said, not giving up advantages easily. And another big point is that they've been able to go head to head at these objectives. They haven't been what feels like a step or two behind the USC team members. Every time they go, oh man, yeah, Dragon's coming up, let's go to that. And it's not so much that this game, it's more of like they're ready for when it comes, they're ready for when it pops up. Question is, will that be enough to narrow this gold gap, bring themselves into control of this game, into dictating pace of this game, because they are still noticeably on a bit of a back foot here.
Yeah, just a little bit. You know, only a slight bit, as their Vayne has yet to really capitalize on anything. Is sitting on 2 items though, so has somewhat gotten into the game. You see the Phantom Dancer and that Kraken Slayer and Cage just getting hit in the face for just trying to clear a ward and can't even clear it out. So Inferno having full control as long as Django and another member are there. Dragon now coming up in 55 seconds. So again, teams have waited. This was the turning point in the last game. So is it going to happen again? Question marks all around. You could hear the pings being spammed, and a possible trade as Baron has been the target for them.
Yeah, that is one thing about this composition drafted by Scoreboard Rainbow. When you have double marksmen, especially when Vayne's one of them, you shred through Barons. And if Wellendus on this Irelia shows up as well, you're gonna look at the Baron funny. It's just gonna vaporize like, "Aight, peace." You know that meme where the dude's like, "Aight, peace," and just vanishes. Basically that, but Baron.
Yeah, well, it looks like they actually didn't commit to it in time, so now they're forced into a little bit of a pickle here. They've done this once and it's worked somewhat well for them, but the Encore has been stolen once again. So knowing that ultimate is up, Meteorite though, level 15, not level 16, so not that lower cooldown. Dragon has been started though. We're gonna try and look for a nice cannon swap, and that's just a very quick Dragon that is sold, going the way of USC in the blink of an eye.
And that's gonna be an issue. It's not gonna be a game-ending issue, but it's gonna be harder to get through a lot of these members, since now this Rel is gonna be giga tanky. This Olaf is gonna have so much extra juice, so much extra resistances in the tank to allow him to get into this backline and threaten this Vayne, this Seraphine, this Graves with impudence. I forgot the word. It's like impudence. I don't know, not an English major. There's the Encore.
There's the Encore going, and the return Encore as well, but I think it's stronger for the side of USC. They already claimed the Graves. They're going to follow up on the rest as Meteorite is dancing off too. Goes ahead and catches the Irelia in the back line, but the front line is all they care about. A dip and a dodge out as Wushu is healing up like a madman. Oh, it's not Master Yi, but it's just as good. Demon flashes over the wall. Gonna try and cut down the cow and fry up a little bit of beef. He is gonna run away for his life. Couple more autos will do the trick. And that is going to be Baron in the pockets of USC as they are looking to close out the series.
Yeah, keep in mind that was mostly a 4 versus 5 fight there, Orbital, when the main action did start up. Inferno wasn't there to participate for most of that fight, and Inferno's the most fed enemy team member. Now you're staring down a Baron buffed up team who's firmly in control of this game, has the Dragon Soul as well, and can look to just really force their, I want to say boot down your mouth, but I don't think that's the best analogy.
They can force the doors wide open whether it's locked or not.
I don't know.
There's a lot of analogies. Either way, all of them are appropriate here. 55.3k to 47.5k, about 8k in there. You have Mountain Soul to give you an extra shield, 18 to 9. Your ADC is miles ahead of the enemy ADC. I mean, I don't feel there's really a window of opportunity for Rainbow Scoreboard to come back unless you know, USC just kind of walk into enemy lands.
To quickly interrupt that, shout outs to Middlesticks, GG.
Say as Demon is now going to force open this top lane, double cannon minion available and open, so that top lane tower might, as a 1-3-1 scenario might occur. Baron, remember, is still up. That's going to be the Vanguard's Edge, catching two Inferno. It's a big question mark, but down goes the Graves, flash out of the Encore. So that means Inferno is fine. Meteorite throws back with the Vanguard's Edge right in the face of the Aurelia, and that is gonna be why the mirror is stronger. Meteorite helps carry his team to victory with that ultimate 3-for-1 in that team fight, and USC come away with a beautiful team fight, the base, and the series win.
Yeah, it definitely took a little bit of time in both games, but they're able to take control. They're able to keep control of the flow of the game, of the map. Both times around here, Orbital, they're able to get the 2-0, carry themselves to 2-0 here in the regular season. Very dominant when you consider there's only 4 games really in the regular season. And that's quite the statement. Sadly, though, for Scoreboard Rainbow, well, their scoreboard now at 0-2 in the overall standings. That's a little bit of a yikers.
They are a little worried, but of course there are more games to play, and that's you know, where they grow as a team. So they have the opportunity to move forward. But again, congratulations to the University of Southern California for taking that victory. They now move to 2-0. I believe they are sitting at first place currently, unless we get some information from the rest. But that will go ahead and close it out for us here at the Upsurge Minor League at Desk for week number 2. However, if you're interested in more League of Legends actions, make sure to tune in tomorrow for the Upsurge Contenders League as they go ahead and hit the rip for week 2. And with that, that will be it for us here at the Analyst Desk. My name is Daniel. With me was Go for Eno. Thank you so much for tuning in, and have a fantastic evening.
Hello and welcome back to the final game of 3 in the Upsurge second edition of the Open Qualifiers. Whippet, welcome back. We fixed the issues. We've got you back, and hopefully there will not be any more moving forward. A very exciting game coming up, isn't it?
It very much is. Hopefully, I'm going to be able to watch the entirety of it, but this is a matchup that I think everyone at home, you're all going to be excited to watch. I think there's some very key names in this matchup, but it's going to be No Shakes versus Psycho Bunny. I'm excited for this one. Just the names alone, that's just going to get everything going, and I'm pretty sure everyone in Twitch chat, you're excited for this matchup. Well, it's been a long night, really. We're in Europe. This has been a long night for us. It's 3 in the morning, but I'm very much going to bring all the possible energy I've left. I'm going to wake up all of my housemates, and they're going to be very angry with me.
Yeah, mine have just kind of accepted it where we are. But let's take a look at the maps of where we're going to be heading. Psycho Bunnies will be looking to take upon No Shakes. Now, currently standing, both of these teams are pretty damn comfortable. You're looking at Bunnies. They're currently the inverted logo, the second one, I do believe, on your screen. Yes, and the first one is going to be No Shakes. Now, I'm looking very forward to this. This is going to be very, very fun. Concert will be the first one taken off of the board so far, and, well, that surprises nobody. A lot of unfun. And when you look at the names, well, shockingly enough, Consulate Coastline, they're maps you don't want to bring in. These are two teams comfortable to get in going. Now, No Shakes, they have got that CL experience, and, well, it's very obvious that Psycho Bunnies, they're going to be aware of that. Dostoevsky and Chalet, though, will be removed.
It's a shame to see Chalet go. It really, really is. It's one of my favorite maps, and not being able to see it getting played is always a tragedy. But Villa next to go, so we won't be returning for a trilogy there. So where will we be going to? It's a very narrow pool now. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. We're not going to Oregon. No, we're going to Oregon. But in my time on casting, Oregon has provided some of the most interesting and tightly contested matches. So surely we're in store for that one here. I'm looking forward to this one. I'm sure you are as well. This is our second, I believe, Oregon of the day. Oh, it's been a long one.
Yes. Now, okay, I want to make something check. Now, we've seen 2 villas today, but for myself and Whippet, this is the second Oregon of the day. We've already seen it before. A heroic effort of a, what was it, a 5-2 to a 7-5 comeback. Now, just so people know, No Shakes will be taking that defense first, and that, well, that doesn't surprise me. They have the opportunity of choice in a map like Oregon. Not in the same degree as CAF. It hasn't been as affected by this 20-second meta being taken away and whittled away at by Ubisoft. It's one of those where the meta is still there. It's changed a little bit, but it's not completely gone. The main framework of how a defense shapes up on Oregon is still there, and the bans, well, they are going to reflect that.
Oh, I'm looking forward to this one. As our bans begin to roll away, it's likely going to be a Thatcher or a hard breach, but the Mavericks first to go. That's a Ria